Hi guys, Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about a new product we just got in called the Chain Monkey. And it's to help you get your chain adjusted correctly on your motorcycle. It can be your dirt bike or your street bike, your adventure bike, whatever, it doesn't matter. Works on all of them. Interesting looking product. I think they thought out of the box on this one. What they don't do that I dislike is they don't put their phone number or their address on the website, which really makes me a little cranky when these companies hide behind the internet and don't post their contact information. So, because I have questions about this product, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. So right there is a QR code on this that you can scan and it pops up a video. It's kind of slow loading. Maybe it's just my phone with a new Apple updates, but it definitely loaded slow on my phone. But that is a video on how to use the Chain Monkey. But I think it's kind of a little quick and hastily done. It doesn't really go through some of the details very well. So one of my questions on the Chain Monkey is you'll see right here on the instructions it says, before you begin, remove the black plastic cap from the dome nut. That's the black plastic cap. Well, why did they make the black plastic cap if they want you to take it off? That makes no sense to me. I mean, it wasn't cheap to make that cap. And then if you watch their videos, the one that is pops up with that QR code, or if you go online and watch their videos, they all have the black plastic cap on there. So that's a little confusing. So to start off here, if you read through their instructions, they're a little bit confusing to me, but instructions quite often are confusing to me, so it's probably just a learning disability of mine. But right here it says use this chart and figure out where to set this rubber ring right here, this piece. So first of all, you have to measure your chain. I want you to measure the thickness of your chain. You can see right there. Measure the thickness. And there's some confusion with that as well. So do you measure the outer plate, which comes up to a little under 13, or do you measure the entire chain, the back plate? Let's see here. And that comes up to almost 15. Well, I've played around with this a little bit, and I'll go with the bigger measurement. It seems like it works out the best on KTM, so I'm going to say 15 millimeters. So their chart right there, let's see, right here, you can see it, 14 to 17 millimeters is the size of the chain. So all KTM 125 through 1290 adventure bikes all are going to fall into that category, that 14 to 17 range. Then you have to look in your manual and see what it says for amount of free play. Well, almost all KTM dirt bike models are 55 to 58 millimeters. So they're going to fall into that range right there, that 52 to 64, which means you go over here and you use setting number 3 for KTMs. KTMs and Husqvarnas, the late model Huskies, all, for 14 on up, basically white KTMs. Same thing, 55 to 58 millimeters, so they all are going to fall with that same setting range 3. So what does that mean? That means you go over here to the tool, and you can see 135 over there and 024 over here. So you just adjust. Sorry, I'm doing this by myself. You adjust this up with this knob down here until the nut gets to the bottom of the 3, and then you set this piece, this rubber piece, you just kind of turn it with your fingers and make sure that it's touching this piece, this orange piece. So it's basically a stop. So you want to stop at 3 for KTMs. Now if you got a mini bike, well then you're going to have to use this chart over here. Right here, this area. Anyhow, so I've got this preset. and it's ready to try on the bike. So to me this was confusing. Is okay, now I've got this all set. What the hell is this all about? What do I do with it now? Well, you back it way off. I'm leaving the black plastic cap on there because they had it on there in their videos. And that whole process is, like I said, it's confusing why they put that on there. And I'm going to move over here to the bike. Okay, so from there you have to put it on the chain on the below the swing arm. This being the swing arm, so below the swing arm. And you have to back it off most of the way, so unscrew this big knob here most of the way in order to get it on easily. And you can see I've taken this black plastic cap off. That's what it says in the instructions, although their video shows it on. Confusing information or conflicting information. But I tried it with the black plastic cap on, and the numbers, the adjustment didn't come out right. So I've tried it with it off, and then it does. So I'm going to go with off. So from here you got to wonder, well, where do I put it? Do I put it right here between the pins on this plate, or do I put it between the plates? Now it seems like it works out better if you put it between the plates. So I'm going to put it right there. It's got these little hook pieces here to kind of hold it in place. But they really don't do much. So now you start screwing this big knob up until this black rubber piece touches the orange plastic piece. You can see it's pushing the chain up. And I'm sure you torqueaholics are wondering, well, how tight do I tighten it? Is there a torque spec? No, there's no torque spec. You just tighten it until it feels pretty tight, reasonably tight. And now this is basically just tighten. Excuse me, that is not correct. You tighten it until this rubber washer bottoms against here. There is no amount of tightness that you put on it. So you just turn this knob until this touches here and bows the chain up like that. Now you can see on mine the chain is tight, and that's but if your chain was loose at this point, then you would go back to the axle adjusters and you would adjust the chain. If you couldn't screw this knob in all the way, that means your chain is too tight, so then you need to go back to loosen your axle nut and then readjust the chain to where you just have it taut. You can see here that the chain is tight. And that indicates that since this is bottomed, that this is the correct adjustment. So when I take this off, the chain is going to have the correct amount of free play. But just to go over one more time, so if I went to tighten this down, I couldn't tighten it all the way and get this rubber washer to tighten after using the specs that I went through earlier, then that means that the chain is too tight. If you would tighten this to where the rubber washer bottoms out against the orange piece here, and then the chain has got free play in it, you can still move it up and down. That means the chain needs to be adjusted tighter at that point. So just go back to the chain adjusters and do that. That's really all there is to it. They've just done some calculations here to figure all this out, and then it definitely works out correctly. I've tried it on this bike as well as my 1290 Adventure, and the numbers definitely work out, and it gives you accurate information by which to adjust your chain. So you can see here, that looks like pretty normal TTM chain adjustment. And like I said before, I did check the measurements. This bike's pretty new, and the chain adjustment is correct. And so I was just confirming it with the Chain Monkey. So it's a pretty unique little product. It's got a really reasonable price point. It's on our website, slavensracing.com. It's easy to use. It's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, for all of you that struggle with getting your chain tightened correctly, and it can be confusing on how to get it right. Where do you measure the factory measurements, and there's always some gray area there on how to figure it out. And if your chain is too tight, it can destroy the countershaft bearing on the countershaft, behind the countershaft sprocket. It can also make your suspension work poorly. It causes a number of problems. If the chain's too loose, well then the chain rides high on the sprockets and can wear the sprockets out prematurely. So having your chain adjusted correctly is definitely important for a number of reasons, and that's not all of them. But very unique little product, Chain Monkey. That's all for now.